people are looking for answers. People are looking for just hope right now and encouragement because they are kind of in a slump. They are in a total slump, and they are lost. They are just totally lost. And so they're turning to church. They're turning to God. And this is a great thing. We want people to turn to God. We want people to find hope in Jesus and in the gospel and in the cross. And I'm glad people are turning to the church. So 49%, a boost in church attendance. We have people who are looking for answers from the church. So therefore, as churches, the day after Easter, what are we going to do for them? What are we going to do for them? Well, number one, if your church is doing some sort of live stream, if your church is uh, doing some sort of online service, make sure that your churches have some sort of follow-up link, something that they could text, something that they can email, maybe even on your website as they are watching, they could click right away and they could input their email address, maybe even a mailing address, information, phone number, so that you can connect with them. Every church needs to be doing this. Every church must be connecting with those who are watching their services. And so there's an easy idea for you guys. For those of you guys doing online live streams, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, make sure there is some sort of uh, link, email address, place that they could input information so that you guys can follow up with them. Following up is key right now, so key. Whether it's with a text or an email, follow up with these people because many of these people probably have never been to church before. Think about the advantage that's happening right now. We're going online for service. It's so much easier for people to watch service or be part of a church. Why? Because you don't have to walk into a building not knowing anyone, sitting by yourself, or maybe it's just really awkward, people are approaching you. This is one of the best times for people to check out church, right? And so that's another reason why attendance is probably going up because it's easier to go to church and just try to figure out some answers to life right now. And so think about all these people that you're capturing at your services, and now you want to follow up with them. And so link, email, text, make sure you're following up with these people. Now let's talk about the follow up. When you follow up with them, don't just send them a generic email that just says, welcome to blah, blah, blah church. Thank you for joining us. Something like that, okay? But make it very personal. Talk a little bit about the struggles of COVID-19 and thank them for watching your service because of what's going on. And ask them, like, are you doing okay? Are you about to lose your job? Hey, here's another follow up inside the follow up. Send us your prayer requests. We'll pray for you. Think about what you're doing now. You're adding more and more connecting points inside your follow-up email or text or things like that. So when you follow up with people, don't just send them generic stuff. Talk about very specific things. And then inside the follow-up email or text, have another opportunity for them to follow up again, whether it's through prayer or join a small group or a community group or whatever it is you call it. And so it is the day after Easter. We're talking about what to do now that Easter is done. So many people probably watch your services that have never been to church or been to a service before. They're looking for answers. I'm jumping off the kind of the coattails of on the coattails of Carey Nieuwhof. He wrote an article about 49% boost in church attendance online. That makes perfect sense. Therefore, connect with these people, follow up with these people. These people need hope. They need hope more than just watching a screen. Okay, so this is a great time right now to train the members of your church, the leaders of your church, to do all this follow up. Now, unless you're a gigantic church, I'm a church, I'm a pastor at Saddleback, where we have food bank and there's all this other stuff going on. So a lot of people are doing a lot of things. But Unless you have a food bank at your church, unless you're doing all these other things, I feel like most of your leaders, other than maybe connecting with their students once a week or things like that, are probably not doing as much. Therefore, connect with your leaders and say, hey, we are now going to be like a follow-up ministry. We're going to follow up with all these people, whether it's with an email or maybe some of you guys feel comfortable with a phone call. Maybe you feel uncomfortable with the phone call because you don't want them to know your phone number. Just use Google Voice. If you don't like them knowing your phone number, use Google Voice. You could sign up. It's for free. You could pick your own phone number almost, okay? But think of different ways to how to train your church members to follow up with these people. So following up is so key right now. So many people are watching your service. Here's the last thing I want to say with what we do now that Easter is over. Make sure that your leaders, your volunteers, know the answer to this question, because this is the question that everyone's asking. Why is this happening? Why is COVID-19 happening? Why is all this struggle happening right now? And I'm going to go into more detail about this the rest of the week, but this is a time where people are looking for answers. They're checking out your church online. Maybe they're connecting with you personally. They know that you're a Christian. They know that you believe in Jesus. And so now they're asking you questions. I just lost my job. My friend is sick with the virus inside the hospital. The economy is tanking right now. I'm about to lose my house. They're going to ask you questions. Why is this happening? What can I do right now? What is Jesus going to do for me? And these are the questions that you need to be ready for. I think the most common question that everyone is asking Christians, especially for those people who don't like Christians, who don't like the church, they're going to probably challenge us and say, how can your God do this? Everyone is going to be asking this question, maybe even asking the question to pastors. That's why they're coming to church, because they're looking for answers. They need hope. So what are you going to say as a Christian, as a leader, as a pastor, as a staff member at a church? What are you going to say? Why is God doing this? Why does God allow COVID-19? Why is God allowing all these deaths happening? I thought your God was a good God. Does a good God allow bad things to happen? I think this is probably the most common question that people are going to be asking, and you must be ready for this question. I'm going to go into more detail about this later on this week, but let me give you just kind of a simple answer, a simple introduction of what we're going to unpack later this week. But a very good way to answer this question is by saying this. I learned this from my head pastor, and it's saying, God is in the same place, and God is doing the same thing that He's always been doing, even during the Spanish flu, even during MERS, even during bird flu, even during the Great Depression, even during World War I, World War II. God has been doing the same thing. He's been here, and He's always been a good God, even during all those disasters and terrible events and terrible things going on. And that is, He's been building His kingdom. He's been sharing the gospel. He wants more people to know Jesus. God hasn't gone anywhere. He's here. He's working through His sons and daughters. He is here. And evidence of that is my church. We have a food bank open every Tuesday morning. People coming because they lost their jobs. They need food. I have church members out there. You could even say maybe risking getting the virus because they are serving the people. The other churches are doing the same thing. I know another church in LA that walked around a neighborhood giving out masks and bandanas to people. So where is God? God is right there. God is working through the church. We are ambassadors of Christ. We represent the kingdom of God, and we are doing generous acts of kindness and love for people, for the neighborhood. That's where God is. Why does God allow these things to happen? Well, again, here's just an introduction, but remember, this is not a perfect world. This was never meant to be a perfect world. We living here on earth, this was never meant to be heaven on earth. Jesus was very clear about that in the Gospels. There is no there is no biblical teaching that teaches us that once you believe in Jesus, everything is good. In fact, there's actually a couple passages where Jesus says, once you believe in me, people are not going to like you. They're probably going to treat you poorly. They probably don't really want anything to do with you. Uh, so, so why does God allow bad things to happen? Well, because one, we're not living in perfection. We're not living here in this ultimate good life. This is not meant to be our home. This is meant to be a temporary transition place to get to heaven, to get to the perfect place. And so, this place right now, Earth, this lifespan that you and I are spending here on Earth, is a place, it's kind of like a holding place before we get to the real heaven, before we get to a perfect place, before we get to perfection where there is no evil and no more sin. And God is allowing us to live here in the midst of the suffering, in the midst of bad things like this, because He wants more people to know Jesus. He wants more people to know Jesus. If everything ended right now, then think about every single person who doesn't know Christ yet. They're going to get judged. And they're going to get judged as a guilty sinner without redemption. So God, in His patience and in His loving kindness, His hesed, He wants more people to know Jesus, to believe in His Son, to have faith, to be saved from their sins, forgiven their sins, and get into heaven. God did not send COVID-19 as a punishment. God did not send COVID-19 as some sort of um, uh, suffering because people made a mistake. COVID-19 is the same thing as MERS and Spanish flu and bird flu and all these wars. It's all the same. We live in a broken world. This world is broken, and there's only one person that can rescue us, and that is Christ. And so I hope you guys are ready to answer these questions. These are very, very important questions that people are going to ask you. They're probably asking you right now, and I hope that you guys are ready. This is the time where our faith is going to be exposed. Our faith is going to be exposed, and your faith is either going to be exposed for this follower of Christ who trusts in Him, but who is able to actually clarify and articulate reasons why you believe in certain things. Or your faith is going to be exposed as someone who loved God as long as everything in life is good. But when life goes bad, you tend to kind of not act like someone who trusts in the Lord. And a lot of the character of Christ is not really present in your life. Your behavior and actions and conduct don't really represent the fruit of the Spirit. And so I hope that right now, as our faith is being exposed, that's going to be exposed for the genuine and authentic faith it truly is. It's going to be exposed for the faith that is truly strong, that is grounded in the cross, that is grounded in Christ, and that a faith that will continue to persevere and endure hardship, trials, and challenges. So be ready to answer these questions. Churches, you guys got a lot of people watching your Easter services. You guys need to be following up with these people. Don't just look at the number in the top left corner of Facebook and say, oh, awesome, we have 100 people watching. That number is great, but you got to know who's watching. Give them a chance to connect with you because you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. More and more people are checking church out because it's easy for them. And so connect with them, build a relationship, invite them to some more of your online meetings or hangouts, invite them so that you can pray for them, invite them to your small groups, get them connected because most of them might not know Jesus. Therefore, you got to continue to connect with them so that their hearts will be primed for the gospel and for Christ. All right, thanks you guys for watching. I'm going to be back here tomorrow at 12. Again, I don't know what's going on with my webcam. I have not had a single day. Where I had no problems. Either my Instagram would die, either my audio would be delayed, or my Facebook streaming would be off. So I feel like I'm doing something right because Satan does not like me. He keeps on trying to jack all my electronic devices. But I hope it'll be good tomorrow. Again, thanks for watching. For those of you guys, check out some of my creative content, youtube.com/PJS Center. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope that you guys will just continue to persevere and stay strong. All right, signing off here on Facebook, Instagram, and I'll see you guys tomorrow here on YouTube and Facebook.